Good evening and welcome. On behalf of the Santa Clara County Leagues of Women Voters, I want to welcome you to our two-part program tonight. First, we are going to have a candidate forum for the assessor position, and we have all 4 candidates present tonight. Please raise your hand or wave when I call your name so that the audience can see you again. Yan Zhao, Rishi Kumar, Nisa Flygar, and Brian Doe. Thank you. After the candidate forum tonight, we'll be having a pros and cons presentation on the 2 ballot measures, Measure A and Proposition 50. So we hope that many of you will stay for the presentation after the candidates forum on Measure A and Proposition 50. My name is Eleanor Yick, and I'm the Voter Service Director for the League of Women Voters of Southwest Santa Clara Valley. This forum is being presented by all 5 of the leagues in Santa Clara Valley, which are Cupertino, Sunnyvale, Los Altos, Mountain View, San Jose, Santa Clara, Palo Alto, and Southwest Santa Clara Valley. The league has 2 separate and very distinct roles. We do voter service and voter education, which is what we're doing tonight. And we also do action and advocacy. The League is a nonpartisan political organization for women and men, encouraging informed and active participation in government. The League never advocates for or against any political party or any candidate. But at times, we do take positions on policy questions, but only after we have studied an issue and formulated a policy position on that. We encourage you to join the League of Women Voters if you're not already a member, and to participate in our efforts to strengthen our democracy. There are tables outside where you can find additional information about the 5 leagues and the way that you can join if you're interested. Before we begin our candidate forum, I want to remind you about a couple of important dates. First of all, many of you have already received your ballot. How many of you have received your ballot? If you don't get it by the end of the week, then do call the Registrar of Voters and track it down. So the ballots were sent out this week, and you can easily track your ballot by going into the Santa Clara County Registrar of Voters website. As you know, you can return your ballot in one of 3 ways. You can drop it off at the U.S. Post Office, you can drop it off at a secure drop box, or you can visit a vote center in Santa Clara County and drop it off there. You can also receive additional help at a vote center, even a replacement ballot. The location of these vote centers are listed in your voter's guide. And we strongly encourage you to use Vote 411, which you see on the back wall there, which replaced the League's Voter's Edge, where you can register, check your registration status, find out what's on the ballot, and even information about the measures on the ballot. And now, on to our program tonight, which is preparation for the special election on November 4th. And these candidates tonight are running to complete the term of the recently retired Santa Clara County Assessor, which ends on December 31st, 2026. And just for your information, and something I'm sure our candidates know, that the winning candidate will have to participate in the primary election in the spring. And if they win that by a 50% majority, then they will be automatically elected in November. If they just place in the top 2, they would have to run for the full election and win it again in November. But tonight we're focused on the November 4th election and the person who is the 4 people who are running and the candidate who is successful. Now, what exactly are the responsibilities of the Santa Clara County Assessor? The main responsibility is to identify all taxable property, determine its fair value according to law, and apply exemptions as appropriate. In 2024, just for your information, Santa Clara County property taxes raised approximately $7.8 billion that was used to fund services in schools, county services, cities, community colleges, special districts, and others. Now, the questions that will be asked tonight were submitted by you when you registered. And in fact, we got so many questions that we had a league team come together to sort them, categorize them, and organize them by topic. Again, the league is very honored this evening to host this candidate forum for the Santa Clara County Assessor position. Again, let me officially introduce the 4 candidates who are all present: Brian Doe, Nisa Flieger, Rishi Kumar, and Yan Jauer. And I would also like to introduce Tracy Edwards, co-president of the League of Women Voters of Sunnyvale, Cupertino, who will be the moderator for the rest of the candidate forum. Thank you.
So first, apologies for our delayed start and all our technology issues. And I'm unfortunately taking one of your handheld mics and would ask that you share the 3 remaining ones because of the, I'm going to. Thank you very much. I'm sorry? Okay, can you hear me when I do it like this? Yes, thank you. Okay. So we're going to just get into it. The candidates have agreed to the format and the ground rules for this forum, which include, but are not limited to, that they will be civil in their responses. They will make no personal attacks. I will pose questions which, as Eleanor mentioned, were gathered in advance, and the candidates have agreed to be responsive to those questions. The candidates also provided the first and last question in advance. Each question has a designated amount of time, either 60 seconds or 90 seconds, and the candidates will get visual cues from our timers that are sitting here in the front row. The speaking order for the first question was randomly drawn and will be in the order that you see the candidates sitting at the table. And the order of every successive question, presented to the candidates will rotate with each successive question. Each candidate also has 2 30-second rebuttals, which they may use at any time. They may not use it to just add on to their own responses or to go off topic. And if they choose to use it, they'll simply raise their hand. And at the end of the person speaking, I will recognize them and allow them to use one of their rebuttals. If the candidates or anybody in the audience would like to use the recording, we ask that you use our recording in only in its entirety. You may not just use a segment of the recording. And so with that, I want to extend my warm welcome, and with their permission to use their first names. Yes, ma'am. Okay, we still have volume issues. Sorry. Okay. So with their permission, I'm going to use their first name. So I want to welcome Brian, Rishi, Nisa, and Yan tonight. During the, as I said, I'm going to start with the first question as it was randomly drawn. Thank you, Dave. And the first question was provided in advance. And so to Brian, why are you qualified to be our county assessor?
I believe that I heard that it's what made me qualify to be an assessor. I didn't hear the question well. Sorry.
Why are you qualified to be our county assessor?
First, my name is Brian Dill. I just want to take a moment to thank each and every one of you for being here tonight. This is probably the largest and arguably the best audience that I had so far. You all are very engaging, and I thank you for doing that. I thank the organization for making tonight possible. I'm currently serving as board president of Eastside Union High School District. And I recently, because of this race, I received recently a contact from my own high school teachers. And she was very excited that I'm running, although she was very surprised that I'm running. She said, well, Brian, I remember you in high school as an introvert, as a nerd, a number guy, a quant, you know, why are you running for office? But she's also apparently following me because she's complimenting me on the fact that I received a gold award from the Santa Clara County Association of California, Santa Clara County California Association Gold Award, which is a fancy way of saying they're School Board Member of the Year. And she's very excited. She won my lawn sign. But before I was a public servant, I was in the private sectors. I was a project manager and later on as a small business owner, where I manage complex enterprise resource planning software and of course, leveraging data science to help the United States government to combat money laundering.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry. It's a time question. So again, to Rishi, to you, why are you qualified to be our county assessor? You have 90 seconds.
Property tax reform is sweeping the country, and I'm all for it. I'm Rishi Kumar, and I'm seeking a vote. I'm the only candidate in this race who supports a property tax exemption for seniors. No senior should ever risk losing their home because of rising taxes. Today, 16 states already provide this kind of relief to seniors. If they can do it, so can we. Visit rishikumar.com/seniors for details. I'm the only candidate in the race who has pledged to protect Prop 13. Politicians want to gut Prop 13, but your home is not their piggy bank. I'm the only proven tax fighter in this race. I've never supported a tax increase. I'm the only candidate opposing Measure A, the county's proposed sales tax hike. It's time to cut waste, not raise taxes. As a Saratoga Council member, I successfully fought San Jose Water Company rate hikes, dropped burglaries that got me reelected with the highest vote count in 70 years of my city. As a C-suite software executive and AI author, I bring expertise in finance operations, IT modernization to transform the assessor's office from day one. This election is about trust. I fight for your interest, not the special interest. Vote for Rishi Kumar. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. And why are you qualified?
I'm Yan. I'm the only state licensed appraiser in this race with the most professional training and the hands-on experience. I have worked in the appraisal field for over 1,000 hours and earned my appraiser's license from the Bureau of Real Estate Appraisers. I'm also a trained computer engineer with degrees in electrical engineering and computer science from UC Berkeley and Santa Clara University. I have spent my entire career in the Silicon Valley high-tech industries. I know how to use technology to modernize the assessor's office, to upgrade their 40-plus-year-old system, and improve customer service. As a council member and two-term mayor, I have always put residents first, delivering results and improve public service. The combination of my technical expertise, appraisal experience, and 20-plus years of public service is what uniquely qualifies me to serve as the next assessor. And I'm determined to make sure this office works better for everyone by delivering accuracy, transparency, and accountability. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to ask you to hold your enthusiasm, please, to the very end. Thank you. Nisa.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Good, thank you. And let me start off by thanking all of you for taking time out of your busy evening schedule to be with us this evening. And of course, thank you to the League for hosting this event. And I agree with Brian. This is the third forum that we're having, and this is the most members we have seen out of these forums. So I just want to thank you for being here. Nisa Flagger running to be the next county assessor. And the question is, why am I qualified for the position? To be a California assessor, you're legally required to have a property tax certification. I am the only candidate with this certification and ready to lead the office on day one. This property tax certification is not a real estate license appraisal or a real estate license that a broker may have. It is very specific to the work we do in the office, not just residential appraisals, but commercial, business, personal property, boats, vessels. And the vast amount of work we do in the office, that's what this certification represents. And that's what makes me qualified to do the technical work and lead the office. In addition to that, I am the only candidate with actual experience working in the office. I was the attorney for the assessor years ago, providing legal advice and successfully defending appeals. I later joined the executive management team where I led the effort where we are modernizing technology, which you'll hear a lot about tonight. I've already started that successfully. And I'm currently the assistant assessor, number 2 in the office, managing the office. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next question starts with Rishi. It's a 60-second question. please provide an example in the last 2 years where your leadership directly resulted in a significant and needed change. Okay, please provide an example from within the last 2 years where your leadership directly resulted in a significant and needed change.
I didn't quite read the audio earlier. The acoustics are really bad. So hopefully this is better, right? Okay, thank you. So, one of the things that I've been working on is to protect people from water utility rates. San Jose Water Company has been a huge problem. And this is a battle that I've been fighting for many, many years. And my colleagues on the city council said, Rishi, you really can't do this because you don't have jurisdiction over San Jose Water Company. But as elected leaders, I always believe in giving it a go. Nothing tried, nothing gained. So I put together a plan, and we so far have managed to reject, reduce, and suspend 10 water rate increases from San Jose Water Company. I believe no other elected leader has even attempted that. So where there's a will, there's a way. rishikumar.com/water. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yan?
Thank you for the question. As mayor of City of Saratoga, I have always treat our residents as customers. And it's the community engagement is so important. I launched Mayor's Office Hour at Farmers Market so community can engage and learn what the government offers. And also, as mayor of Saratoga, we put a 2-term limit on the ballot. So people gets to decide if this people should decide whether they want their council members to have a term limit or not. And also, during the pandemic, as mayor of Saratoga, there was a Asian hate on the rise. I worked with mayors and community leaders around our area and organized a Stop Asian Hate. There were over 1,500 people showed up and to support. So it's important that when you see injustice, you speak up, you organize. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Nisa?
When I joined the executive management team in the assessor's office last year, I immediately got to work and started making changes in the office. I led the effort to move forward with modernizing the technology in our office. We've been on the same 40-year-old COBOL system, which I'm sure you've heard a lot about. I led the effort to acquire a new modern technology solution, something the office and the county have been attempting to do for years. And I was able to move it forward, get a contract signed, unanimously approved by the board, and we've already started implementing the solution that will improve efficiencies, productivity, and better serve our residents. I'm also vice mayor of Los Altos, and in my second term, I've been mayor, vice mayor. And in that role, I led the effort with the county to bring the first ever 100% affordable housing development to Los Altos. I also worked with the county and led the effort to have the first childcare subsidy program for Los Altos, our residents and our employees. I was president of the Cities Association. And in that role, I also led many efforts.
Thank you very much. Brian?
Thank you. I will try to squeeze in 3 separate items in 60 seconds. One is the passage of Measure N, where I advocate for and I led to making sure that senior actually did get the exemptions for their partial tax. 2, when I was elected to the school board, Eastside Union High School had about $50 million in the bank, a little bit less than 50. We now have over almost $80 million. All the school districts were nearby us was closing school. We have not, and we won't have to if we continue to do what I have been advocating for and successfully implemented. Number 3, we are currently going through the redistricting. We just passed it, and it was supposed to be, was predicted to be a contentious issues, but because under my leadership as the board president, we did not have. We actually have a very harmonious redistricting. If you have been one, you would know how difficult it is to have one of those where you don't have community pit against each other, but instead we work together.
Thank you. Next question goes to Yan first. It's a 60-second question. Beyond the minimum required certification for the office, What, if any, professional certifications relevant to property tax assessment do you have or plan to pursue?
Thank you very much for these questions. As I mentioned, I invested years in preparing for this role. I took classes, extensive course on the appraisal, and worked in the field for over 1,000 hours, and I earned my state appraiser's license from Bureau of Real Estate Appraisers. For running this office, someone just mentioned that it's the only candidate have that certificate. The property tax certificate you can only get when you work at this office. Once I'm elected, I will have the same certificate. But beyond that, I have done more professional training and field work. And I make sure I'm equipped to lead this office with knowledge and experience and commitment. I committed myself for past 2 years to prepare for this role.
Thank you very much. Nisa.
Thank you. So as I mentioned before, I'm the only candidate with a property tax certification, and let me expand on that. It does require you to be in the office doing the work. You don't just show up to the office and you get the certification. It actually requires that you're in the office demonstrating that you understand the variety and the complexity of the work we do in the office. It also requires you to take a very comprehensive exam. And as someone who passed the California bar the first time, I can tell you this is not an easy exam. In addition to the property tax certification, I am already working in the office along with the professionals and understand what the work is, how it's done, and in order to lead and manage the office as I'm doing currently. I received my real estate broker's license years ago. And similar to a real estate license, appraisal license, as a lawyer, I will tell you, we have paralegals, and I had a paralegal certificate years ago. You can have a paralegal take classes, including law classes, and get a paralegal certificate. It doesn't mean that paralegal is ready on day one to be an attorney.
Thank you very much. Brian.
I don't know if I want to wage in on a debate on who have more certifications and who has more experience, because I think that's it's probably beside the point. What's relevant is, can you do the jobs? And would you be able to have the certification when you're elected or not? I think anyone, a reasonable person in front of us would know that the moment you're elected, you would go through the process, and the process is pretty straightforward, and that each and one of us is going to get it. What's more relevant, I think, is can you understand what it feels like to be the average folks down here? Now, I used to work in commercial real estate as a representing a real estate side, but now I'm a real estate investor. I understand what it's like, the struggle to being a small business owner. I know what's the struggle like when you have to deal with the commercial, the taxes, and you have to appeal the process and how challenging it is. And frankly, I know what's it like when you try to call or show up to the appeal process and try to figure out how did people come up with this number. That is the job of leadership, to provide that.
Thank you very much. Rishi.
Larry Stone wasn't certified when he got elected in 1992. You get a whole year to get certified by the Board of Equalization. So I think it's a moot point. It's really not relevant. You're not actually just electing an assessor or an appraiser. You're actually electing a leader. You're electing a reformer. And you're electing somebody who's a property tax reformer. You're electing somebody who has modernization experience. When I was part of IBM, I modernized systems for companies like Blue Shield California, for Wells Fargo, for Kaiser Permanente. I have the finance operations, plus leading very large teams, a few hundred people. This needs a leader, a strong leader who can get stuff done, who understands AI.
Thank you.
And I bring those skills.
Thank you very much. Next question. Oh, please. So Yan would like to use one of her rebuttals. Please.
Just want to tell you, fact checked. I mentioned earlier, the people you can get the certificate only if you works in the office. There's 200 some other people work in the assessor's office, all have that property tax certificate. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next question. We'll start with Nisa. It's a 60-second question. Lisa, how would you increase transparency for property owners about how values are determined and how to contest them?
Thank you for that question. And I just want to clarify the record as the only candidate who actually works in the office. You know, we have a lot of professionals in the office, but not every employee has the property tax certification. As I mentioned, I joined the executive management team last year, and I've already started increasing community engagement and doing exactly what you're talking about. We're going into the community, different districts in Santa Clara County, to educate and inform them about who we are, what we do, because transparency is so crucial to my leadership approach. It's so important for residents to understand what we do in the assessor's office. So we always had community engagement. I'm increasing it. I'm doing it a little bit differently. I want to make sure every resident and taxpayer is aware of the exemptions, whether you're a veteran, a homeowner, you're aware of the exemptions and exceptions that are available to you and the programs and services. We ensure that we have all our materials in different languages, so language is not a barrier. And I will continue to do that when I become assessor. Thank you.
Thank you. Brian?
I think it's important for us to provide a transparent online dashboard so that the public can know where we're doing. We show the office performance, how long it takes to respond. At Eastside Union High School District, about 2 years ago, we have a very simple help desk systems that costs us a few $1,000s. But we used to have a 2 weeks delay from the moment that you send your email request in until the day that you get it resolved. Now, it takes 6 hours. The moment you receive it, it automatically delegates to the individual person. The person knows that the clock's starting. Imagine how responsive you are when you know now you're being measured by it. In addition, we want to transform to this a customer-centric cultures where you can access your public records and get help anytime and anywhere. 24/7 customer service. You can call in and you can do that at a much lower cost than the current office doing now.
Thank you.
Transparency is about making information easily accessible by people. So instead of me going to the county website to find my property value, it should be coming to my phone or my email. And that's the type of transparency I'm looking for. When property declines, there are times when property declines here, it should be automated. And we should be notified right away, your property has declined, and here is the new valuation. So for a long time, I think our county assessor's office was stuck in the 80s. We really didn't adopt any of the technology. We can apply AI to essentially automate the appraisal and declines of properties. There are quite a few areas of efficiencies that could be achieved. And that's what I seek to bring to the table. Bring the corporate efficiency and transparency, provide simple dashboards, easy to understand, apply chatbot capabilities to interact and understand.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah.
When I decided to run for a county assessor 2 years ago and emphasize the importance of transparency and accountability, you know, historically, this office has done very little to outreach. You know, ever since I launched my campaign, we start hearing that. But, you know, a transparency means information readily available. That's what I plan to do. Make sure this office is work for people, it's easily accessed for information, and also make sure the information can easily understood. That's why I want to establish outreach programs, workshop, help people understand property laws, their rights, and available programs. Knowledge is power. I committed empower our communities with the knowledge and the service they deserve.
Thank you very much. Next question, we'll start with Brian.
I'm Bobby. We don't hear the private wall.
I'm going to try to get closer to you.
Yeah.
They
Thank
can
you.
hear it, and they can hear it as well. Okay.
Can you hear me? Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can you hear me now? Is this better?
Yeah.
Okay.
You almost have to be chewing on the mic. That's
Always.
what you're going to need. Thank you.
Like the first question, I didn't hear you because we're inside this section.
So we're starting with you, and hopefully you can hear me now.
Yes. Yes.
Very
I hear you.
good. How will you ensure property assessments are fair across neighborhoods, property types, and income levels, especially balancing commercial and residential properties? And it's a 60-second question.
Thank you. At the end of the day, the role of the assessor is to implement the law fairly, accurately, and consistently. We don't make up exemption. We don't have the authority to make up new rule. And this is probably where I probably one of the few things I respect disagree with my colleague to my left. But we want to make sure that we follow the exact, and the more that we can use a number of technologies like automations, the things that we can do, that we can have more precise. And as we moving forward, by having that information available to you, so you know how we arrived at decisions, and we push the information to you if you agree to opt in, so we can send it to you by email, we can send you by text. And because what I'm proposing is a 24/7 customer service that gives you much more access than ever before, you now have a more accurate in order to be more equitable.
Thank you. Rishi?
Property assessments, fairness across neighborhoods. It's a very, very simple fix. Apply technology, apply AI. And there are counties across the United States that are actually already doing it. When you apply technologies, when you apply software, when you apply AI ML engines, there is no question of bias. It becomes very simple, becomes very straightforward. We haven't modernized in 30 years. We haven't even started the effort. So there is an opportunity for us to fix it by applying the right type of software. It will take years, but we can get it done. And this transparency that we're talking about neighborhood assessments, making sure the declines, everything can be automated. From $43 million, we can chop it down to quite a few $1 million.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Equitable assessment needs consistent methodology, thorough training, and regular audits. Properties should be valued based on objective criteria, not based on income levels, not based on demographics. We need to use technology to detect any inconsistencies, but the bottom line, we make sure you have the consistent methodology. Make sure the property is valued fairly and equitably. So make sure we can do all that, then people can trust our process.
Thank you. Nisa?
Thank you. In order to ensure that we have a fair, accurate process as required by law, the first step is to ensure that we have professionals on staff. Our resources are the most important members of our team. We need to make sure we have people who know the work, have the expertise. And as the assessor with my certification and experience in the office, I'm currently managing the team, and I would continue to do that. And having the right management who has the same ethics and leadership and fairness is key to ensuring the office continues doing that. You know, we talk a lot about technology, and as I mentioned, I've already started moving our office forward with a new modern technology solution. But the work we do in the office, so we need technology to do the work, but the work we do in the office is not technology. It's assessment, appeals, appraisals, and we use technology in order to do that work. And if we use it well, and as I mentioned, the technology that we are implementing does a lot of the things that you're hearing today. And once that goes live in a couple of years, we'll be improving efficiencies and making sure it's more fair.
Thank you very much. The next question is going to start with Rishi. It's a 90-second question and it's 3 parts. So it's 3 parts. So if a property owner disagrees with the assessed valuation of their property, they may file an appeal challenging the assessed value. Currently, the average property tax appeal in Santa Clara County takes over 700 days to resolve. So this is the 3 parts. In your view, what is a reasonable time frame for resolving appeals? 2, if your time frame is less than 700 days, what specific changes would you implement to reach your new goal? And 3, how quickly could those changes be implemented?
So, yes, the appeal process with the assessor's office is as clear as mud. And I've had friends who have gone through the appeal process. They're told to bring certain documents. They come back. They're asked, no, this won't work. Get me something else. So this needs to be automated. It needs to be automated. There are about, I would say, 1,000 appeals stuck every year. And I believe in my first 90 days, I'm going to clear a majority of these stuck appeals. Why are we either holding money back for the county or holding money back for property owners? This is absolutely ridiculous. You can apply technology. This is Silicon Valley. We use technology all the time. This is what we should be doing. But for 30, 40 years, we haven't quite done that. Resolving appeals should be automated via software. And there are counties across the United States that are already doing that. This is part of my agenda. Again, going back to declines. Declines, many counties across the United States have automated declines. Go to Oakland County Assessor. He's already done that.
Thank you. Thank you. Yan?
Can you please repeat the
be-
questions? I
I'd
know
be
you said
happy.
the three part. I only, yeah, can you repeat?
You had the prefacing part. I'll redo currently, the average assessment time for an appeal in Santa Clara County is over 700 days. Part one, in your view, is that a reasonable amount of time to resolve an appeal? Two, if the time frame is less, if your time frame is less than 700 days, what specific changes would you implement to reach that new goal? And how quickly could those changes be put in place?
Thank you. I think this is exactly why I'm running, because the office takes almost 2 years to resolve any appeal. That's too long. You ask me what is the reasonable time? It really depends on the complex of the appeal. I would think in months, definitely not in years, in my view. Talk about how to improve this process. Definitely we should invest to see where we can improve the workflow. This is important that we can use technology, we can use different methodology. The important things we need to investigate to reduce the time to resolve appeals. Another thing I think it's important to make the information available. You might reduce number of appeals. Let's see if people at a room, if they know they need to be, the property tax is going to be added, if all that information is available, say they won't even appeal for things like available information. I think education is important. This will definitely help us reduce number of appeals and also help us reduce the government time in terms of resolving them, also reduce taxpayers' money to appeal for it. Thank you.
Thank you. Nisa?
Thank you. As the only attorney who has actually defended appeals on behalf of the assessor's office, I'm very familiar with the process. As the assistant assessor, I'm already working with the executive management team and also the other stakeholders in the county to make changes to this process. Let me first address the question about whether or not it's reasonable. As the assistant assessor joining the office last year, I look to areas where we can improve and make changes. And so if there are ways to reduce the number of days, that's something that I'm working on to make sure we change it. But I want to clarify, those number of days only relates to commercial. For residential appeals, we get those completed within approximately 400 days. So I want to make that distinction, and we have less commercial cases. The appeals process involves many stakeholders in the county. It's not just the assessor's office. We work with the clerk of the board, for example, and when someone files an appeal, they go through the clerk of the board's office, and they're the ones who set the hearing, and that starts the scheduling. And so as assistant assessor, I've already started working with the other stakeholders to identify ways we can increase efficiencies and move the process faster. As an attorney, I also understand this is a quasi-judicial process. And if you've ever been involved in a lawsuit or litigation, these things take time. They involve discovery where there's exchange of documents. You have to wait on one party to get you information. And then that also adds to the timeline. So there are many things we're working on changing, and I look forward to continue to making these changes on behalf of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Brian?
Thank you. This is exactly the very reasons why I am running for county assessor. The number of days, 700 days, is incredibly, if you are, whether you are a small business or large business, 700 days is incredibly long for you to resolve it. Can you imagine if you are a landlord and then you have an appeal process and you have to tell your tenant that, hey, you have to pay that $10,000. And then next year you tell them, well, actually, you know what, last 2 years, you actually owed me $20,000. Now you got to pay me. Or what if that tenant have moved on? You're damaging the tenants, you're damaging the businesses. So the solutions, which is the second part, is use two things. One is technology and triage. You want to use technologies to automate it, to get down it, and you want to use data analytics to figure out what the common root cause that you learn from it. So the approach is not about being a lawyer and attacking so you can win in the court. The approach is to get it right, and you using the process to learn from your mistakes so you get better, and then you can prevent it. So you don't have to fight constantly with the public.
Thank you. Next question is, oh, yes, ma'am.
I'd like to use one of my rebuttals.
Please.
Thank you. Just to clarify the appeals process, just starting with the technology that we're moving forward with implementing in the office. Yes, that will improve the process, and that was key to selecting this particular technology, because I do expect that it will increase the efficiencies in the process. But as I mentioned, there are different stakeholders involved, and so it's for the assessor's office to work closely with them in order to expedite the process. And so I want to make sure everybody understands that a lot of what's being said refers to things that happened before I joined the executive management team. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. The next question is another 90-second question, and we'll start with Jan. Santa Clara counties, and you've all mentioned this, 40-year-old COBOL mainframe handles all the core assessor functions: property ownership tracking, parcel mapping, valuation, exemptions, appeals, and the annual tax roll generation. And the county, as Nisa mentioned, recently entered into a new contract for a system. If you could set the priorities for this new system, what would they be? And we're starting with Jan. If you could set the priorities for the new system, what would it be? You have 90 seconds.
Can you just repeat the question a little bit? I had a little hard time hearing at the beginning.
They heard, so I'll
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you for the question. Former assessor just signed a $30 million contract weeks before he left. We all know upgrading a 40+ year system takes years. It is important, my priority will be sure to implement the upgrading correctly and effectively to make sure the system upgrading can actually deliver result. As we all know, who is better to oversee such a technical, complex project? A trained engineer with experience in appraisal. So I know how system works. I know I have led my team in my professional life, upgraded and integrated new software. So this is exactly what I'm talking about. We need someone who has technical expertise, experience, the appraisal experience, and public service mindset to make sure that we can implement this $30 million upgrade effectively.
Thank you very much. Nisa.
Again, as the executive management team member that led the effort to acquire this solution, I know it very well. And this is something that the office has been working on for years, and we were able to build on lessons learned and acquire this solution. This was not something that happened overnight. We had over 40 subject matter experts involved in our office. And when I think about the priorities for this technology solution, it's ensuring, and we've already started this, to ensure that we have the data conversion and migration from all our different divisions to make sure the data we need to continue to meet our state mandated role is there to do the work on your behalf. We also want to make sure that we bring the team along. So when we do change management in the office, they'll be able to transition smoothly to this system. We estimate that we'll go live July 1st, 2027. And so we're factoring in training for our team so they're familiar with the technology and so that they can get ready to work for you. These are the priorities that I want to make sure that it captures the work we do. It has the workflows, the modules, and the tools we need to better serve you as our customers and taxpayers. We've heard a lot about customer service. The customer service in our office has a positive rating of 92.8%. Yes, there's room for improvement, and I've already started looking at ways to do that. And I do think this technology solution that I was able to acquire with the team in the office will help us do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Brian.
Here's how I would solve, sorry for being a little bit too loud there. Here's how I would prioritize. End of the day, we want to be fair, we want to be accurate, and we want to be consistent. And here's what else we want to be efficient about it. Because we cannot have a 700 days delay in the addressing the appeal process. That is absolutely unacceptable. One metric that you want to have is you want to know how long it takes people to actually respond to it. Now, the previous speaker talked about the 92.8% approval rating. We don't actually know the approval rating because not a single one of us actually show of a hand if you actually receive one of these customer service that she's talking about. You got one person in the, 3-4 debate that I've been in, one person actually survey. As an owner, as someone who went through this process, I have never received that. And I spoke to so many countless owners. How many people actually receive this? None of us actually know what the question looked like. So at the end of the day, we want to make improvement. You want to be able to quantify, because if you cannot measure it, you cannot improve it.
Thank you. Rishi.
Firstly, I want to apologize to everybody because my opening statement was loud. The acoustics is a mess here. And some mics were not working very well. Some mics were too loud. And I was just trying to get my voice across. So please accept my apology. Hopefully this is better. Okay. So to answer the question, it's 4 or 5 bullets. Automate the property appraisal. That's a good objective. Increase accuracy, reduce errors. Automate the declines. Automate the appeal process as much as feasible. And finally, with a budget of $43 million and the county being in the red as it is, my objective of applying the software would be to cut the budget of the assessor's office. In 5 years, I would like to cut it by $10 million, bring it down from $43 million to $33 million, and use the $10 million towards law enforcement, toward road repair, and all the essential services. So that's my objective with this new software and the modernization.
Thank you. Next question is going to start with Asa. And it's another 90-second question. There are, and they've been referenced tonight, there are many new technologies that have the potential to improve valuation accuracy and detect changes in ownership and construction. So another 2-part question here. The first part, and I'm asking everybody to please be specific. What specific emerging technologies would you deploy and why? And part 2, how would you ensure they protect privacy, minimize bias, and comply with state law?
So again, the modern technology that we're currently implementing, we already did that assessment, spent hundreds of hours evaluating different technology solutions in the field and different tools. And so this technology solutions has AI tools that will cover different areas of work we do in the office. And it will meet the state. That was actually one of our requirements when we were looking at vendors to select for this new solution. We wanted to make sure it was a California compliant, legally compliant solution that could serve all these needs. In addition to the technology solution, I have to say the assessor's office has other software tools that we've been using over the years, including, for example, a mass appraisal tool. We have an e-filing system. We do have online customer service surveys available 24/7. And so when I think about the assessor's office and technology, we are focused on, we're a lean office and we have a lot of priorities in the office. And one of them is to implement this new solution. And it will ensure that we do our work fairly accurately, but also to your point about reducing bias or eliminating bias, it will also give access to everyone in the county who needs to, research information, file their property tax statement, and take advantage of the programs and services we have in the county. And currently under our current system, it doesn't allow for that. And so for a mom working 16 hours, when she gets home at 11 p.m., and is able to get onto our system, she'll be able to do that.
Thank you very much. Brian?
Let's talk about having AI. They think it's some sort of buzzword because everybody's saying the word AI nowadays. The technologies that you want to implement is how does that help you? Most of you don't have, or most residents of our county don't have the ability to go to the county during work hour. They have jobs. Some folks, some working family have 2, 3 jobs, so they don't have the ability to do so. So the first thing you want to do is provide that access 24/7. That means conversational technology that can provide that service 24/7, where you are, when you are. And the other part is you want to find out where are the common root cause of the problem, why you have this ongoing, continue to increase in number of appeal, both in number of asset amount and also in terms of days. And you need to find that out. At the end of the day, like the only thing one of the few things I agree with Nisa is we're using technologies to make our job better. I want to do the second part, using technologies to make our life better.
Thank you. Rishi?
I'm happy to be the only one sitting out here who wrote a book on AI. It's on Amazon. In this book, I cover many of the aspects of artificial intelligence, like bias, transparency, singularity, like privacy. There are challenges with AI, but we can get through it. And just like how we dealt with issues of mainframe in the past, or with DOS. Anybody remembers DOS? Yeah. Yes, MS-DOS. So we can get through technology. We are Silicon Valley. This is what we live and breathe. So if there's one aspect of software or technology, it's AI software. I would like to automate property appraisals. I would like to automate the appeal process as much as possible. I would also like to automate the declines. This is what, it's not rocket science, it's AI. And counties across the United States are doing that. Why is Silicon Valley stuck in the dark ages? It's not, AI is not perfect. There are challenges, but we can get through it. The time to start is now, and we can find a fantastic solution that'll work for the people.
Thank you. Yeah?
Any technology modernization, we have to keep in mind, we're here to serve our residents. You have to put the resident first mentality when you do any type of upgrade. There's many ways we can help to make the process more efficient and improve our service. We can look at the cloud-based system. We can use, AI to help to maximize of a workflow. But important, we want to make sure the data is more accessible, more accurate, more timely. Some of the data right now, we only do weekly update. We are living in the 21st century. We want information to be online, to be available anytime. You can't wait for a week to get the update. So that's an important message I want to get through. we are here to serve people, make sure any upgrade, make sure any improvement, we put our residents as a customer, as a customer first, so that you just don't treat them as a number. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is 60 seconds, and we'll start with Brian. Replacing the legacy system alone does not guarantee. I'll repeat it for you guys. Replacing the legacy system alone does not guarantee better service. How would you build a culture of continuous innovation so staff routinely look for new ways to improve accuracy, efficiency, and customer experience? Give me one second.
Thank you for that question. It starts at the top. You want to change? It's not about the technologies, although I absolutely think that technology can make our life better. It's about leadership at the top. Does the leadership at top believe in change? Does the leadership at the top in continuous improvement? Or does the leadership at the top thinking that it's about a fight? It's about having a lawyer to come on, fight the other side to see that you're right. It's about getting it right the first time and using data analytics and a number of technology tools to determine the root cause of the problem. We know the root cause numbers why there's more and more appeal. We know pretty good ideas why they continue to now 700 days until resolve. The question is, do you have the leadership that believe in being accountable? Do we have a leadership to making what we do public and transparent to you? Not just internally, but to show our progress or our lack of progress.
Thank you. Thank you. Rishi?
Technology is the easy part, but it means adopting the right software from the get-go. Pick the wrong one, you're going down a cliff. So it's important to pick the right software with components of AI, ML to automate the process. And then the software updates will take care of it. There are companies who do this for a living, and they are pretty good at it. We at the county level, we don't need to do it. Trust the technologists to do it. And there are Silicon Valley software companies that actually do this. What is the bigger challenge, though, is employee morale. We have seen a pulse survey, a Santa Clara County pulse survey, where it showed that the assessor's office was in the bottom 5%. This is not the way to run an office. We need strong leadership. We need to build employee morale and make sure we coalesce everybody for a common purpose, which is not happening. Thank you.
Thank you. Yan?
Can you just repeat the question one more time?
Happy to. Excuse me.
Thank you. Definitely, technology is a tool to help serving people. So it's important we have the right tool so we can make the service more efficient and accurately and fairly. Talking about, Silicon Valley, we are the center of innovation. So we have the culture, we have to encourage employees, staff, explore new ways to make a service better. We have to give them opportunities to get the training and the tools are needed to make the service better. And also, I think it's important that leadership has the mentality, encourage this type of innovation in your office. Make sure that, many tech companies, they give their employees 10, 15 time to invest, to see how they can better, to invest, to do a better things, the better ways. I think we should do the same in the assessor's office, give people opportunity to give us suggestions to foster a culture that you can make this office work better.
Thank you very much. Nisa?
Thank you. I understand there's a lot of interest in our office related to technology because there's been talk of our 40-year-old COBOL system. As I've mentioned, we're moving off that system. We're implementing a new technology that will replace it and do all the things you're hearing. But I also want to underscore the work that we've already done in the office. We have an amazing IT team that works closely with our professionals and subject matter experts that have been building tools, supplemental tools for the past years in order for us to do our work and meet our state mandated role every year. We get audited every 5 years by the State Board of Equalization, and our accuracy rate is 99.4%, which means the work we do is accurate when they do the audit of our office. So I just want to make sure that even though I'm moving us forward, and yes, it takes leadership. And in acquiring this solution, I worked with the staff members to select this vendor. And as we move forward with implementing it, we're working together to implement this new solution.
Thank you very much. Next question is 60 seconds, and Rishi, we'll start with you. Would you provide 3 measures of success for the county assessor's office? 3 measures of success for the county assessors.
Automate the property appraisal, automate the declines, automate the appeal process as far as possible, and reduce the budget.
Okay, I'm going to give you another run at this one because I'm really looking for metrics by which you'll measure success of the assessor's office.
Okay, so right now everything is manual. So cut down the appraisal time by 95%, cut down the appeal process by 95%, cut down the declines, automate the declines, cut down the decline process by 95%, and cut the budget from $43 million down to $33 million
Okay,
in 5 years.
thank you. Ann?
The first metric definitely is going to be reduce number of days to resolve appeals. Currently, we just heard for residential, it's 400 days. For commercial, the average, it's over 2 years. So this needs to be resolved. That's first metrics, reduce number of days. We talk about technology upgrade, but I think important is we want to make sure it can actually deliver improvement in terms of, reduce number of appeals. That's the number one. And secondly, and also make sure the customer get the answers, right away. Not they have to wait for days, weeks, or even months to get the result. That's another metrics. I want to make sure that every part of the assessor's office, have a clear matrix with, processing time and accuracy.
Thank you. Lisa?
In the assessor's office, it's one of our principles to measure everything. We measure from customer service to our role activity to the appeals process, because we're always reviewing the data to see how we can improve and if there are things we can do in the assessor's office to improve those processes. And as assistant assessor, I work with the executive management team to improve that every day. So I really appreciate this question because I do believe in measuring anything you implement to make sure it's working. The first thing, and this is not a choice, and it should have been the first priority every single candidate mentioned, is to meet our state mandated role. That is what we need to measure every year. It's very process driven, and there's certain things we need to accomplish by a certain date. And we track this every month. We measure it based on the activities the staff is doing, because if we do not meet the state mandated role, we will get penalized by the state, and the revenue dollars that the county, cities, schools rely on public safety, these dollars would be delayed or possibly reduced. Thank you.
Thank you. Brian?
Obviously, the office of the assessors had to be fully compliant with the law. So it's a given that you're going to follow the law. That's a given. There's no what if but there. But in addition to those fully compliant with the state law, I would like to mention 3 ways. One is how fast your issues get resolved. How fast our employees pick up your call. Are you waiting 45 minutes before your call get picked, or is it instantaneous? And the third one is how long that appeal process takes before it's resolved. That's 700 days. I drive that down. But there's one more I'd like to ask that we should consider. We want to continue to improve, continue to innovate it. Some of it is technologies. Some of it is the human relationship between how we can make things better. And that's exactly what I've done at my school district, where our budget is $400 million, about 10 times the size of the assessor office. Yeah, we continue to be nimble, we continue to innovate it, and we can do the same at the assessor office.
Thank you. The next question is 60 seconds, and Yan, we're going to start with you, and I'll repeat this to the audience and to you. So the K-12 public schools receive about 44% of our county's property tax revenues. Community-funded, formerly known as basic aid districts, often struggle to understand their projected property tax income. If elected, what specific steps would you take, if any, to help these districts receive timely and accurate revenue projections? Do I need to repeat?
Thank you. Currently, there's about $140 billion property value tied in appeal. So all schools depends on accurate assessment. All this appeals will delay the school's funding. You know, this is actually a very serious problem. Almost like one every $5 is in appeal, in dispute right now. So it's very important. We need to reduce the backlog, resolve appeal as soon as we can, so that school have a very accurate forecast for how they can provide the service to their students. So this is a very critical issue. And I think resolving the dispute time and help the school to get the accurate assessment for their district.
Thank you. Nisa?
Thank you. What our office currently does, and I see some school district members here as well, we provide a monthly report on our role growth and projected revenue dollars that they will receive, because we appreciate and understand how dependent public schools and cities are on these revenue dollars. So we send out a monthly report to cities and school districts so that they can track the projection every single month for each roll year. In addition to that, we have quarterly meetings where we have experts from our Department of Tax and Collections, Assessor's Office, Clerk of the Board, Controller, where we meet with representatives from the city and the school districts so we can answer their questions. And if they have follow-up questions, we provide this service for free. And when I'm assessor, I will continue to provide this service because I know how much it's appreciated. I want to correct the $142 billion. The assessor's office and the county does not hold the $142 billion in reserve. We're still distributing the revenue dollars to the schools and cities. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Brian?
One of the most important things when folks talk about accuracies, and what you hear from two different perspectives prior. One is talking about how we're already doing it. We already provide accurate data, so we provide monthly. But the reality is that accuracy is determined by how correct they are in their assessment. If the numbers continue to go up, 700 days, 1 out of $5 is being stuck. And we can debate about the exact dollar amount and big dispute, but there is no questions that the dollars amount continue to go up, the appeals going up, and we can see it. Those are real number, and that's provided by the assessor report. So if you want to change, you change in that perspective. If you continue to argue and debate about whether that dollar amount, that doesn't help. It's changed by changing the leaderships and change the accountability so that we learn from our mistakes and make the corrections when we're wrong. And I think that's where we should start with.
Thank you. Rishi?
This is actually the example of a failure of the last 30 years. This is a colossal failure. It doesn't mean that we have to pass the baton from one failure to another. We need to forge a new way forward. We need somebody who understands technology in and out to make sure these types of colossal failures don't happen again. So automating the appraisal is the answer. it's much faster. And in the interim, for the basic aid district, we need a point person in the assessor's office to be there to help them out. It's not rocket science. Have a team be available for them to see how we can get money to them as quickly as possible. There are ways to fix it.
Thank you. I'm just going to give a cue to the timers and the technology people. I'm going to skip question 12 and go to the last question. So the last question, as I mentioned, was provided in advance. It's a 90-second question. I don't need to repeat it to all of you. You know it already, which is, what question do you wish we would have asked you during this forum, and how would you respond to that question? And we'll start with Nisa.
Thank you. And if this is my closing, let me thank everybody again for being here this evening. I really appreciate the league doing this. It's an important conversation for us to have and better understand about, who will be leading this office. Maybe not for the next 30 years, but the next few years and foreseeable future. So the question I think I would have appreciated being asked is, why experience matters. I talk a lot about my experience working in the assessor's office. And that's because it's a very specialized technical office. I am a council member, former mayor, an elected official like my colleagues here. And being elected to those offices do not require technical specialized expertise, but the assessor's office does. And I will be ready on day one to serve you and represent you as your assessor. In this budget uncertainty in the county, where they're even more dependent on the work we do in the assessor's office, we really cannot risk having someone lead this very important office with $725 billion in our assessment role who doesn't have the right experience to lead that office and hit the ground running. Yes, we're implementing a new technology solution, and I have engineers leading that effort. When you look across the state, 70% of our assessors came from within the assessor's office, and that's not a coincidence. It speaks to the unique nature of the work we do in the office and why it's important that the leader has that experience. My experience, thank you again.
Thank you very much. Brian? Let me check. Yes, you have a rebuttal left. Yes.
I have talked to many school board members. They actually complain about they don't get very accurate forecast from the assessor's office from month to month. For 1 month, they talk about their projected funds going to grow. Another month, it's going to decrease by 10%. So it's really hard for district, school board members to get a very accurate assessment to plan for district.
We have another rebuttal, please, Nisa.
Thank you. I just want to make sure everybody understands the real work we do in the assessor's office. That's the nature of assessment, right? The projections, and we're following the role growth. We're doing the assessments in our office, new construction, change of ownership. We do role corrections. There are different things from month to month that will affect the assessment, and we give real-time data to the school districts and cities. We're not going to give them information that's not correct. And if by chance we miss something, we're the first ones to correct it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Back to the final question.
Can you repeat? Final. This is the question.
I'm sorry. Rishi, you want to use a rebuttal? Okay. Please go ahead.
So the nature of appraisals is it's not about Groundhog Day, where we don't have answers, or it goes up or it goes down. Look at counties across the United States. They have automated the whole damn thing, and answers are like magic, So it's not acceptable that we didn't have the right technology for the last 30 years, and we are passing the baton in this way.
Thank you very much. Brian, you were asking to have the question repeated. What question do you wish we would have asked you during the forum? How would you respond to that question? And you have 90 seconds.
I'd like to take this moment and take things a little bit different. Talk to you about these elections. I wish someone would ask us about the question of public trust and how did the timing of these elections affect public trust. If you think about it, it's going to cost millions of dollars for having these elections. For the primary, and perhaps we get somewhat subsidized by Prop 50. But the runoff on December 30th, 5 days before, 5 days after Christmas, 2 days before New Year. We're going to spend about $15 million of public money on our elections that I'm going to speculate would have very, very low turnout, given that it's between Christmas and New Year. And whoever wins the seat, that person going to have to run for office in about 5-6 months from then. Imagine on January 1st, you just won, and now guess what? You're running for office again. How much work is going to get done? How can we have the public trust in us if this is the kind of strategy that we do? At the end of the day, this elections and how important it is, but the person can be here for potentially maybe next 30 years. Don't we want to have a robust debate and conversations and have real meaningful conversation how we can move the assessor office forward?
Thank you very much. Rishi?
The question is, why should seniors vote for you, Rishi? And back in 2012, I started organizing a fun talent show, Saratoga's Got Talent. Young kids performing to raise money for the senior center. And the seniors became a cause. Getting elected to city council, I found them having two major fears: losing the healthcare, losing their homes, and the utility bills, and burglaries. There were burglaries spiking in Saratoga, and they were fearful that somebody would come into their home in the middle of the night. I listened, and then I responded. We dropped burglaries from a colossal 50%, which is a historic record. It remains that low. We caught the bad guys and sent them away. Working with our sheriff, working with our neighbors, launching neighborhood watch programs. Water utility rates, I challenged San Jose Water Company. Their profits have gone from $15 million to $95 million in the last 10 years. 15 to 95. No, I'm not making this up. So it's a big problem. I said, I'm going to do it. We rejected so many water rates. I'm in the business of reforming property tax. Seniors should not have to be ejected from the home because of rising taxes. I will fight to protect Prop 13,
Thank
and
you.
I will ensure that we will.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That was our last question. And we've actually made up some time. So this is all good news.
The questions, what really qualifies someone to serve to the next assessor? First, I just want to thank League of Women Voters and each one of you for being here tonight. As you all can see, I'm the most qualified candidate in this race. I exceed the minimum requirement to work in this office. I invested years in professional training and field work. I'm the only state licensed appraiser in this race. I will bring transparency and accountability into this office. That's why 10 out of 15 mayors in Santa Clara County, along with federal and state legislators, have endorsed me. Cities relies on accurate assessment to fund essential services like police and fire. With my background in technology and appraisal field work, I can lead this office from day one, and I will lead this office into the 21st century. This important office shouldn't be handed down by political insiders. It should be earned. At the end of the day, this office is about serving you, not politics. I'm Yan Zhao. I'm respectfully ask for your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. We would hold that. Now, that was our last question. On behalf of the League, I want to sincerely thank each of you for stepping forward to run for office. Offering your time, ideas, and energy to serve the public is no small commitment. A healthy democracy depends on a rich pool of candidates bringing diverse perspectives and experience, and your willingness to stand for election gives voters real choices and strengthens our community. And now I would like to ask the audience to join me in thanking all the candidates for participating.